The Buzz, Australia's only live, interactive social media program on free-to-air TV, is proudly brought to you by Zetagrid, Australia's award-winning provider of on-demand IT infrastructure for businesses that want reliability, speed and flexibility.
Actually haven't even opened the lid of my laptop. Hello and welcome to the almost award-winning show, The Buzz. Great to have your company.
Almost award-winning, Jason.
Almost award-winning. Close! Unfortunately, we were beaten at the WA Screen Awards by
Friday Night Live.
Well done to Friday Night Live. Yes,
Yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah.
Bastards. Right. Paul Cook, good to see you.
Lovely to be here.
And, of course, Candice Barnes, lovely to see you as well.
Great to be here. Lots of juicy topics to cover tonight. So
and we will. And we will. Did you see that big face that was on the screen back then?
That was Janae's face.
That was Janae's face.
I know. What's she
there
doing?
She is. She's one of ours. That's Janae. Say hello, everyone. She basically runs the show.
She does. She is the show.
She is the show.
We're literally her hand puppets.
We are, and I've got this thing stuck in my ear where she talks to me all through the show as well.
Oh, she does.
Yes.
Whisper sweetener.
Now, so much to get through this evening, so we're going to start straight away. There is a Liberal from New South Wales.
New South Wales,
who made
Blacktown and that electorate around that area.
Made a bit of a dick of himself today.
Labor heartland.
Check this out.
And we have a plan, we have a 6-point plan to make sure that we do stop the boats.
6 points, could you run through them for us? And on the Coalition paid parental leave scheme.
So you must support families that are doing it, struggling with the cost of living.
By kicking up company tax?
That's it, John.
And Sandra, that shows how vitally important it is for candidates to get their heads around the policy detail.
Now, he did say there, now Sandra, so he's coming back to us.
Yeah, you can be Sandra if you like.
I can be Sandra. Can you believe that? You'd think that if you were a candidate that was running, you would perhaps do a little bit of research?
Look, the two sides is he hasn't done enough research, so therefore he clearly needs to brush himself up. The other side is it may, for all we know, have been his first major interview. If you have a look at the full thing, the interview goes him pretty hard. The interviewer kind of hammers him and maybe caught in the spotlights a little bit and didn't want to say the wrong thing. And
I reckon it was a bit like a lion with a wildebeest, The journo kind of sensed that he had some weak talent there and just wanted to pounce.
That journo knew that he had him on the back
jugular.
foot. Yeah, so whichever way it was, I mean, I'm sure it's a lesson that young Jamie has learnt for next time.
Now, speaking of going for the jugular, One Direction fans aren't normally known as being... Well, yes, they are. They're always known as being particularly ferocious.
Incredibly passionate, the Directioners and the Believers.
Yeah, the Believers,
Believers.
yes. Believers.
And it seems they've gone nuts with GQ magazine, which you were telling me is a men's magazine.
It's a men's magazine,
Why
but
would they run a One Direction cover?
Yeah,
How
I
is
don't
that
know.
relevant to their demographic?
Yeah, I thought so.
Obviously the research fits in. Maybe we all want to look like them. Anyway, one featured a young man called Harry Styles, who's a member of the Directioners, a particularly attractive member. Look, if I was a chick, he'd be my choice.
Really?
Where they quoted a line from Daft Punk, which was...
Up all night to get lucky.
Absolutely. What would you think that implies?
He's up all night getting lucky, which I would argue, for someone of his age, in a big famous band like that, such as his want.
But he could have been at the casino, he could have been,
could have been at the horses.
Waiting for something to
happen. Who knows what kind of lucky?
Absolutely.
Could have been playing poker online.
But the young girls think that actually means that Harry is a bit of a tart.
Yes.
And what they're saying is that he's up all night trying to shag lots of chicks, and they were mad.
We are trying to find some tweets here that we can read out because most of them have lots of naughty words in there.
Very profane.
I'll keep scrolling just in case that you're looking at the screen.
Well, I'm going to read one here from Michael, although it's got an avatar of a woman.
Yeah.
GQ needs to shut the up before I break my glass nail file in two and stab them in the eyes.
Well, I'm wondering if ex-Riley X has actually been arrested. It says, I'm going to bomb your headquarters. Directioners are the worst fandom to mess with. F you guys.
They made Louis look like an asshole. I swear to God, here's an angel, and I'm going to go and find GQ and bomb them, see you in jail.
Michaelanius or Pearl says GQ magazine can go F themselves with a chainsaw up their A till it mutilates their insides.
So we're not going to read any more out
from watching Evil Dead.
I'm starting to get a little bit worried myself that the One Directioners might even come after us.
I know,
What
whatever
do you
do.
think would happen if the One Directioners, you know, and the Beliebers and the Taylor Swifties kind of all had a three-way war? There'd be no one left.
And you know who else
It might be a beautiful thing.
You know who else is hideous? The religious nutbags and the Richard Dawkins followers are just as bad.
Oh, the atheists online, I know.
Man, a lot of them. They're
absolutely disgraceful.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, we probably should move along. One Direction at least can sing. I personally don't think that this woman can.
She can
She
sing.
can.
I came home a little early. I couldn't believe my eyes. You were lying there butt naked with a woman between your thighs. I was like, yes, baby. Ain't gonna take your trash no more. No more. I gotta pack up all my things.
Both of them. Well, once again, we're having problems with being a live television production, trying to get our iPads up on screen. I'm going to hand this off to somebody that knows what they're doing.
Well, you're going to do this. So the next thing
That's what we're looking at. We're talking about Doctor Who. That's a Dalek.
And Candice, you've got something to tell us about
That's it.
this.
I don't know what we're going to have in the background. It doesn't really... Oh, lovely Janae.
Janae's back.
Because why not? Well, as you're probably aware, millions and millions and millions and millions of people around the world, and probably a few people who were tuned into the buzz here, tuned into the small screen over the weekend to just learn who the identity is of the actor who played the 12th Doctor in the very popular Doctor Who series. Rumours abounded on social media prior to the event. You know, was it going to be a female? Were they going to be a gay character? Is there going to be an element of multiculturalism in there? No, quite predictably, we ended up with a white male actor.
I reckon Helen Mirren would have been a good choice.
Why do you say it like it's a bad thing? Like somehow having a white male is a bad thing?
Because they've all been white males.
Well, that doesn't matter. That's, you know...
We've had 12 of them. Surely we can have a bit of variety.
Well, I don't know.
A small Vietnamese woman would have been my choice.
Yeah, Serena Williams in a tight dress would have been a fabulous Doctor Who.
Or Candice Barnes even, perhaps.
Don't know if I have the acting nous for that, but it's, you know, Stephen Hawking himself kind of came forth and said he wouldn't mind seeing a female Doctor, as well as, you know, a lot of feminist groups out there saying, you know,
well, that said, though,
change.
Peter Capaldi, who actually has taken it, if you've seen The Thick of Things, you would have seen him on there as well.
Yeah.
I actually reckon he's a pretty inspired choice.
But do you know my first thought was? Is over the last couple of Doctor Who's with David Tennant and Matt Smith, they've been a bit, you know, kind of hubba for the girlies, but, you know, girly material.
And girls.
Whereas this guy clearly isn't that. So I wonder whether that's going to change things a little.
Well, if you were a Time Lord and could kind of incarnate any way that you liked, you know, you might be inclined to, you know, try and be someone a little bit more hubba for the ladies.
Well, I've been coming up with different ideas for people who could have been Doctor Who. And I'm thinking somebody, like a new Doctor Who, that carries around a bag of lollies.
With a long scarf.
And we call him Dr. Jube.
Moving right along in that case, well, someone who is very, very grateful to perhaps even see a television is Edward Snowden, who spent the past 6 weeks and perhaps even more in a Russian airport. He's since been granted temporary asylum to Russia, with social media sharing his first photograph outside of the airport, as well as pondering as to what his next move will be. That's the photo you can see behind me there. Some very astute watchers have noted that the temporary asylum he's been granted is only for 1 year, and have certainly been mapping out some paths.
Is it just me, or does he have an oddly shaped head?
Well, you know, he's got a big brain.
Do you reckon if he came out as being gay, that they'd say, "Oh, sorry, you can't have asylum anymore"?
Because Russia has these anti-LGBTI.
It's a big thing at the moment.
Very interesting.
I like the way you think.
You know, you know, all for people being who they really are, but if he happens to be, you know, enjoying the company of men, then it might be time to just keep it a little bit quiet for a few more weeks. I'd suggest anyway.
Speaking about having the company of men, have you had a haircut?
No.
Have you?
No.
Yeah. You know this bit here? You know that bit there? You know what that looks like?
Yeah, don't even say it.
Kyle
It
Sandilands.
looks nothing like Kyle Sandilands.
It does look like Kyle
No, it
Sandilands.
doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I'm going to downvote that.
Oh!
Great segue to the next clip.
It's abuse. That's what it is.
I just wanted to say I don't like that the comments get removed for having too many negative votes.
We're just trying to rid the comment section of bullying and hate speech.
That seems a little oppressive, don't you think?
I don't like the way you're talking to me. Dislike.
But you see, when I respond to the negative comments in a clever way, I want people to see the original.
Boo!
So they can know how good I burned them.
I don't like what you're saying.
I just think it goes against our freedom of speech.
Oh, thumbs down. Hey, where'd she go?
Her comment has received too many negative votes.
What are your political allegiances?
Well, I am an anarchist, as you know, at heart, and I believe in no government. Just let me go and hunt sheep already, or something.
Right.
But if I had to vote, then it may help if I have something to guide me, something to say, hey, these are your choices, so your political allegiance is.
So we'll ask you a bunch of questions about topics that you might have an opinion on.
Yeah.
And after looking at all of those options, we'll show you on a map
think you are.
where you are.
And this is exactly what the abc.net.au/vote compass does. You go, you put in your postcode, you select your electorate, you say whether you're under 18 years or not.
Are they spying on us?
Yes, then you can't vote. And then you go through a series of questions. Well, 337 people, where's that information going? So what you do is you go through and you answer a series of questions. Now, at the end, I didn't quite get what I expected. However, the questions are kind of loaded because they relate to the current political climate and the questions in the media circle at the moment. You can't kind of say, well, I don't care about boat people, for instance, and answer something that you do care about. So it was interesting, though. And did you end up where you thought you would end up?
Not exactly, no. I've always considered myself to be very much a centrist, straddling the fence, right in the middle of the political spectrum.
But instead you're a Nazi.
No, not a Nazi, far from it. In fact, I'm a communist.
Oh, there you go.
In fact, I don't know, is that me up on the screen? No, that's not. But I looked at it and I went, hang on, I'm sitting right between the Greens and the ALP. I don't know if I think that's right. That's certainly not how I was planning on voting.
Yeah, look, I mean, I landed smack bang on that red dot, which surprised me because generally I don't tend to think I'm there, but that's kind of where I found myself. So I wonder whether because of the way the questions are loaded up, it positions
I think you might be right, because I asked the question because we were on Twitter and we were obviously all doing the compass and coming back and talking about it, and everybody was finding that they were up in that top left quadrant.
Yeah.
Now, does that simply mean that the people that I choose to, associate with have the same views as me?
Yeah, maybe, or they just default to that, because the government's paying them and it's all part of a conspiracy.
Let's go back to Candice now. Candice, tell us about applications on phones and whether or not we're happy to pay for them.
Indeed. Here's a new study from the DER files, by the sounds of it. New research has found that free apps are more popular than paid apps. For obvious reasons, people don't want to pay for them. Interestingly, though, the study also found that people are more willing to accept free apps, even though they have, copious amounts of advertising in them, which is, quite interesting. The same study also found, and very sorry to Android users out there, but apparently you are much more stingy than iPhone users, not anywhere near willing to pay as much for your content. Another little tidbit I had for you, a viral video was doing the rounds on the internet this week, which appeared to show an American police officer doing a bit of a hit and run on a bystanding skateboarder. The incident itself actually happened 9 months ago, but really came to the fore this week when skateboarding superstar Tony Hawk tweeted it to his probably bazillion followers. Now the unedited version of the video has surfaced showing that rather than it being a hit and run incident, the policeman actually did, inquire as to the welfare of the person he'd hit and spend a bit of time checking that he was okay before going on his merry way. Though, here's the original clip so you can make up your own mind.
Oh, police brutality and shit.
The Buzz, Australia's only live, interactive social media program on free-to-air TV, is proudly brought to you by s03e21, Australia's award-winning provider of on-demand IT infrastructure for businesses that want reliability, speed and flexibility.